Can India follow in China's footsteps and become a huge force in the global economy and one that affects the US? This year may tell us. India is holding national elections over the next month. The good news is that both major parties say they want to implement economic reform. Right now, India is not even in China's league. But if those reforms are implemented, India could become an economic power to match China. Here's what India has to do to soar in the global economy. India needs to create a unified national economy. We take that for granted here, but India actually isn't a single market yet. Different Indian states have different rules. They refuse to trade with each other. They refuse to export to each other. The biggest issue in creating that unified market is taxes. India needs to have the same tax system all over the country. They don't now, which seems very strange to us, but it's a huge barrier to Indian success. When you talk about India, you talk about a huge labor force, all those people. And India has a young labor force. So many people talk about a demographic boom, where young Indian workers produce many things for the global economy, the way young Chinese workers have done. But that's not going to happen right now. And the reason is that if you're in India and you're creating a manufacturing firm, you can't fire people without government permission. You can't shrink your firm. Indian firms aren't going to hire if they can't fire freely during a downturn. The great Indian labor force isn't going to help India or the world unless manufacturing firms have labor freedom. The last thing is the most basic and the most important. Ordinary Indians, the poorest of the poor, don't really own their land. The land is taken away from them by the government when necessary through collective negotiation. If you're a poor rural farmer and you don't have land, you have nothing. The first step in development for India and for any other country is to boost agricultural production, boost the income of farmers. That's what allows a country to grow economically. So India needs to unify its market. It needs to become the single large economy that everyone thinks it is. India also needs to let its manufacturing firms hire and fire freely. But the number one thing India needs to do to become a huge force in the global economy is grant basic land rights to its farmers.